What is an iBuyer and why do you care? Hey, come back in a moment and we'll drill down on that. Hey, Steve Schwab here with the Portland Lifestyle Team. Thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a new method for selling your home, which has presented itself in the Portland area recently in the last year or so. It's actually been around for a little while. And it's called, it's basically an iBuyer system. And where you've probably seen this is either on TV, maybe billboard ads, letters in the mail, advertisements on the internet, various different ways. And I want to explain what that's all about. But before I do that, we need to break down a little bit about what the concept of disruption and disruption to the business world actually means. So disruption could be defined as a radical change in an industry, business strategy, etc., especially involving the introduction of a new product or service that creates a new market. Examples of this would be things like the fact that your camera that you used to take pictures with was replaced by this device right here. Video rentals transitioning to streaming services, on-demand video. Taxis and what Uber's done to them, department stores impacted by Amazon, hotels, Airbnb, music. We used to buy records, and now we stream music. Those types of things, travel, all that stuff that we've all had experience. So what is disruptible? Hey, first of all, I'm going to submit that we're probably hiding our heads in the sand if we don't assume that almost everything in life is. However, there are probably some things that are borderline maybe undisruptible, depending on how you look at it. And there are probably 5 items that come into play that make something very hard to disrupt. And that would be where maybe the purchase involved here is very high priced. Maybe it's done very infrequently. Maybe it comes with an element of risk. The transaction involved might be very complex, and the purchase is unique. Each purchase can be different than the other. So having said that, what I'll submit is, given the 5 items I just explained, that the real estate business is probably not so disruptible. However, the real estate industry likely is. The real estate agent or broker and the real estate brokerage actually perform 2 separate functions. And one of the things we know is that over the course of maybe the last 10, 12 or so years, that it's become more and more difficult for the brokerage to make a profit. It's a whole separate conversation, but suffice it to say that during one of the strongest real estate upcycles we've seen in a long time, maybe in history, I don't know, the brokerage itself is actually seeing a decline in their profit. So given that quick explanation of things, it's probably the real estate brokerage that's having to consider how they compete in a changing environment of disruption in an industry that's actually been very undisrupted up until now. So it's probably time that the brokerage kind of rethink what they're doing, the value they're bringing, and look for ways of combating the changing times. So given that somewhat lengthy explanation of disruption, let's take a look now at what an iBuyer actually is. If you take a look at your screen here, I'm comparing the traditional house sale with an iBuyer sale in a very kind of simplistic manner. And with a traditional sale, what we're doing is we're waiting from offers from potential buyers. We're interviewing and talking to multiple agents until you find the proper one to represent you. You do all the necessary repairs, keep your home clean, ready for showings, stage the home, hold open houses. You schedule showings and disrupt your day maybe from time to time so showings can occur. And then the closing time that comes with the process may ultimately impact the plans you have for the future. Now the iBuyer sale is totally different. In this case, you're receiving an instant iBuyer valuation, typically over the internet. Accepting that offer is basically a click of the mouse. You reduce or eliminate stress from repairs and or cleaning. There's no staging or open houses to deal with. And the terms of the close and the moving, your moving can be very negotiable. So quick review, the homeowner goes to the iBuyer, receives an offer. If they accept that offer, they basically close the transaction, and possibly within a couple of days you receive a check and you're done. Now, what you've done now is you've sold your home to a company, not to a person. So the home never goes on the market, never goes through that process of showings and negotiations and the things that occur with a conventional real estate transaction. But now what happens is that company, as quick as they can, prepare the home to go back on the market, and they resell it. They're basically flipping it. So who are these companies? Well, the list seems to grow by the day. But a few of them that are names that you may recognize would be Zillow, Open Door, OfferPads, Redfin, Keller Williams, EXP, the company I've been with for a while, Perch, Knock, and just Google it. There's a lot of them out there, and like I said, it seems to be growing every day. And they're creating a whole new market, which in my opinion is partly there to compete with the real estate broker. They all have some level of difference. However, they all have the same objective, and that's to make money. And what they're doing is they're buying homes at a price that is going to be below market value, although what you're reading in some of this advertising is that you're going to receive a competitive price. Well, two different things, so we want to be careful with that term. And they're turning around and basically flipping the house. The process, I guess, could be compared much like when you go into the car dealership and trade your car in for the newer model. The dealership's going to give you a wholesale value. They're going to turn around and resell it. So to wrap all this up, let's talk quickly about the advantages and disadvantages to going down this path with this system of selling your home. First of all, from an advantage point of view, you're looking at a quick sale, no prep of the home, no disruptions, caused by showings and things like that. You're going to get a quick move to your next home or to your next chapter in life, and you're just not going to deal with what some people call the headaches of selling their home. The disadvantages, a little bit different story now. You're not going to receive market value. It's just not going to happen because they have to make money. Now, arguably, some of these systems that are in the Portland area right now are buying at a little higher rate today, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to create market share for themselves and make sure that their name comes up at your dinner table as an option. But you're going to see that change as profitability becomes more and more the focus for them. The equity, basically the equity you've built in your home over the years, you're not going to realize. And you want to be careful with some of the things that get talked about, how, some of the marketing is going to say things like, you're saving a commission. Well, they also charge a fee, which is actually higher than a going commission rate of commission in the real estate industry. And I'll give you a little example from my own experience. I went off and received 2 offers for my home from 2 of these providers, and one of them wouldn't even bid on it because we were outside of their price range, and the other one actually came in at a price that I feel is about $70,000 less than what it's worth. And then on top of that, they had a 8.5% convenience fee, which totaled about another $40,000. Now we're talking about a house that probably has a market value of, call it $580,000, between $575 and $6, somewhere in there. Came in at $516 and taking $41,000 off of that. And then what they're going to do is a quick inspection and probably come out back at you for a few extra bucks to fix certain things before they'll close. So in my case, it's probably $100,000 difference. That's material. So basically, you're trading equity for convenience. And just so you kind of go into this whole process with your eyes wide open, what I would suggest you do is get your instant offer, or ask your realtor to help you get that instant offer, and then have them also compare that offer to what the market can bring and make your decision accordingly. It's going to cost you a little bit of time, but what you could end up finding yourself saving could be a material amount of money. So hopefully this has been of help. If you'd love to have me take a look at any of this stuff for you, I'm happy to do that. Reach out. Steve@portlandlifestyleteam.com is my email, or 503-780-7599 is my number, and look forward to seeing you again here real soon.